It's been like a year since I've done an update on the 510. I don't think that's right. Let me explain something before you watch the rest of this. I had a bad GoPro issue, really bad GoPro issue. As much as I would love to like record an iPhone or something like that, I kind of don't like changing pictures and formats and stuff like that. It killed my motivation for probably 6-7 months on the 510. But I got through it. Eventually, I said, screw it. I don't care if I'm recording or not. I got to do something on the 510. And I did. Right now, you're probably looking at me scrolling through my phone, showing you photos of progress I was doing, you know, when it was cold, when it was hot. Right now, it's the beginning of September. I haven't done much, but to me, I've done a lot. I've kind of stepped out of my comfort zone, and I've kind of went for it. And it's turning out good. And you'll see that over the next couple minutes or so. This video is gonna be a little bit shorter. Just gonna kind of throw that out there. Let me know if you guys like it. You know, if you like this kind of content, please let me know down below. Dude, I'm super stoked to have all you guys following and checking this out. So enough jabbering. Let's get to it. You know, let's mess up this Datsun a little more than I've already done. So it's been a while, but I promise, been working on the 510. Got the rear end together. Fabbed up the rear end. Got the differential lifted roughly 3 inches. Gonna reassemble it and then get it back in the car. So today we're gonna work on the main hoop of the 5/10 roll cage. Corbin has graciously lent me his bender, mandrel, sold me the tubing to do it, and is even helping me. He's such a generous, beautiful human being. And he's even setting it up because I have no idea how to set this thing up. So, pretty excited. See how this goes.
You just got a great shot on my ass.
Hey, perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. Alright, that's weird.
Yep. Yeah.
Dude, rust. Who'd have thought? Rust on my car? No.
Ah, that's my finger.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's my little fingies.
There we
Gotta go up like 2 inches. This has gotta get out like 2 inches. We gotta make a bend about right here.
I like it. Fun, fun, fun. Pulled together roll cages are not good. Thankfully I never had to use mine, but not good at all. So I've had this crazy creative block when it comes to the rear end of the 510. I can't for the life of me figure out what I want to do exactly as far as securing the rear part of the differential. I have this mustache bar and it bolts to the rear differential as you saw. I need to find a way to utilize being able to mount this kind of still on the differential, because I like the mounting idea. I don't want to redo too much because I do like having bushings and stuff on the differential. Maybe I'll go to a solid mount later on. I don't know how to secure this into here. I cut out the factory frame rails because they were already cut way before I even owned the car. And so I was like, okay, well, these are basically useless anyways. They stop right about here anyways, and that's where the mustache bar mounted. With me raising the diff about 3 inches, I've lost that real estate to be able to mount the mustache bar, and now is gonna sit basically parallel or flush to the sheet metal of the trunk. And as much as I wouldn't mind, you know, lifting it up 3 inches, that's kind of a lot of work just for, you know, a factory mount. I have the tools, I have the material, and I have the capabilities to be able to make something a lot more secure. What I need to do is I need to mount the mustache bar back on, and I need to measure exactly where the mustache bar is going to sit and decide from there how am I going to secure it to the body of the car. I have an idea of how I want to actually turn this into like a barred setup or a cage setup or whatever you'd like to call it. I have these little drops which are just kind of roughly cut. These will fit over these pieces that I did cut out of the factory framing, and once I trim like this washer and whatnot, these will actually fit over here, and then I can weld these in, and then from there I can actually put a bar between it to secure these 2 points. I actually have, you know, a straight bar, flat point, and from there I could build off, you know, whatever way this needs to go to mount to the actual car. I really haven't had motivation to be able to do this because it is a lot of math. It's pretty structural, so today I finally summed up the motivation to be able to do it. I guess let's kind of experiment and see where it gets us. Let's get to it, man. I got nothing else. Let's just figure it out and figure out what we can do. So. So now that we got the little tubes all mounted and actually ground down and the bolts put back in them, installed into the mustache bar, we've got a reading from inside edge to inside edge of about 371. Now we can make our tube with same sided notches, and we can go straight across. And then once we get them centered in here, which these are 3 inches tall, mark halfway, center out the tube, tack them in, and then remove it and weld it out. Then we'll actually have our center bar for our mustache bar. Once that's done, we can put it back in the car and then decide how we actually want to mount them in, since we'll have an actual placement of where we want everything to be. So let's get to that. Okay, so since the measurement we need from inside to inside of each cut is 372 centimeters. Yes, I know I'm making it a little confusing by going from centimeters to inches a lot, but I don't know. For some reason in my head this makes sense, so I'm just gonna keep doing that. So as long as we have right about there, because as long as we have 3/4 of an inch this way, we should be okay. So I'll make a mark right here. Mark it over here. Then we take a piece of angle, let's mark this guy. Like so. This guy. Find our intersecting point, which you can barely see because it's pretty dark in there. So right about there. Okay, so that's gonna be our starting point right there. Let's take like that. Should still be intersecting right at the edge of the blade is the intersecting point, which is what we want. And from there, we take our handy dandy drillio. So it looks like so far so good. We're still good on our intersecting point. Put this like this. And we have a nice notch. Of course, we'll clean this up, kind of clean up all these little threads right here, or these edges right here. Now that we've trimmed that, we can take our little test piece. You can see, nice clean fit. Flip this around. Make sure our intersecting points. So now, if we got our measurements right, this should fit perfectly in between here, which it does. It's nice and tight without being like pushing out or in on these 2 points, which will be perfect for tack ups. Nice having the right tools. Thanks again, Corbin, for letting me borrow your stuff. So now we got this all welded up, should be all good to go. Good little baseline for us to know where it's gonna go. So we already flipped the mounts. That was really easy and boring. Put this here, put this on here. My garage is like an OSHA violation waiting to happen. This ugly little turd with these ugly welds. Which side's better looking? This is a little better looking. And a little tight. There we go. Now we have a baseline. It's definitely above the floor a little bit, just by a little bit. And I gotta figure out how I'm gonna tie this into the body. Probably just chop all this crap out and go from there. But now we have a baseline, and I think that's a good progress point for us. This is something, no joke, I've been wanting to make this for like 4 months. Just this little piece, just this one little piece. I've wanted to make this for 4 months and I've put it off for so long. It feels really good to have this in. This is like one of the many steps towards getting this car back on the ground. It's been sitting on jack stands for so long, it probably thinks it's part of the car now. So that looks like a major progress point for me. I don't think you guys realize that's so motivational for me. I know it's so stupid and small and you're like, oh, that could have been done instantly. But with all the little lack of motivations I've had to work on this thing, that one little tiny itty bitty part is gonna make it so much easier the next time I wanna work on it. I wanna get this car on the ground. I wanna get it running. I wanna get it driving. I'm trying my best. I'm gonna continue on. This little tiny thing is actually a big motivational booster because now I've seen where I need to go. I'm just that much closer to putting the car back on the ground. I mean, and even that alone, just seeing my car on the ground, even just lowering the suspension, you know, down and having the weight of the car on its own wheels again is gonna be a huge thing, especially with it slammed with the rotary in it. It's hard, man, it really is. And I hate to complain and whine about it, but it's hard. She's here, she's not going anywhere. I'm not selling it. I'll never sell this car. I mean, it's collecting dust like no other, but it'll get done. I promise, it'll get done. I don't know when, but it'll get done. We'll see. Passenger front. We're just going, well, for you, you clockwise.
Okay. I didn't know what clockwise meant.